Hey, Willowbrook, welcome to another Daily Devo. My name is Jared. I'm one of the pastors at the Madison campus. Have you ever heard someone say, well, that was bittersweet? What do they mean by that? Sometimes they could be referring to something they ate that was bitter and sweet at the same time, but normally we don't use the word bittersweet or the phrase bittersweet to refer to food as much as we do situations in life now. In fact, I've got a great example. I've got a daughter who's about to graduate high school and go off to college. And when people ask what's going on in our life and I tell them that, they say, oh, that must be bittersweet. What do they mean by that? Well, things can be hard and great at the same time, right? Our daughter, we're going to miss her. She has been living in our house the last 18 years and we love her. And it is so sad in a sense to see her go off to college. It's bitter. But at the same time, it's also sweet. We've been preparing to do what? Not let her stay with us the rest of her life. We've been preparing to launch her into the world. And she's about to do that. So it's sweet also. And she's going to get to go to the college she dreamed of going to. And she's got a great roommate lined up, all these great things. So it's bitter and sweet at the same time. Where we find ourselves in the book of Revelation today, we find a passage where the Apostle John is going to taste, if you will, the bittersweet nature of God's divine revelation. Chapter 10 is kind of an interlude between the 6th and 7th of the trumpet judgments. And it begins like this, Revelation chapter 10, starting in verse 1. It says, Then I saw another mighty angel coming down from heaven. He was robed in a cloud with a rainbow above his head. His face was like the sun, and his legs were like fiery pillars. He was holding a little scroll which lay open in his hand. Now, some scholars have looked at this and say that this angel refers to Jesus. Other scholars say, no, it can't, because it says yet another angel, referring to a like kind, and the previous angels, or some of them, were not referring to Jesus Christ. But that's up for debate. This is like so many places in Revelation that you don't want to ever read just one person's opinion on Revelation and say, oh, they know everything about Revelation. No one does. It's meant to be prophetic genre and a mystery that we'll never know fully until heaven. But regardless, this scroll is referring to the judgments of God. I could read the whole chapter for you, but what I really want you to pay attention to is this. Starting in verse 9, it says of this scroll, it says, So I went to the angel, John did, and asked him to give me the little scroll. He said to me, Take it and eat it. Now, think about this. I know that sounds weird. Take it and eat it. I want you to think about this more in the sense of digesting information, all right? Like if I told you something that was really hard for you to hear, I may say something like, you probably need some time to digest that. Think of it in those terms. He says, take it and eat it. It will turn your stomach sour, but in your mouth it will be as sweet as honey. I took the little scroll, John says, from the angel's hand and ate it. It tasted as sweet as honey in my mouth, but when I had eaten it, my stomach turned sour. Oh, there we have it, bittersweet. What's he reading in the scroll right here? He's reading more about the divine judgments of God to come. Why would they be bittersweet? Well, they'd be so bitter because John would be reading, he would be understanding the incredibly righteous judgments of God that were going to come upon sinners. It's not fun to think about sinners and all of God's wrath coming upon them. But yet John has a glimpse into that. But at the same time, it's as sweet as honey, the Bible says, because of what is going to come for God's righteous people. What awaits us is there's nothing bitter about that. We know the end of the story, and we win big in eternity and with heaven, in heaven with God. Finally, in response to this bittersweet revelation, Verse 11 says, "Then I was told, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings." So this information wasn't just for John to take as his own and say, "Okay, this is information, now I know it." No. The response was the same response that we should have, that we should warn people about the judgment of God. We should tell people about the gospel of God. I hope you're enjoying the book of Revelation. Thanks for joining us. Hope you tune in tomorrow for another Daily Devo. Have a great day, Willowbrook.